Take a deep breath with me and let's get into the energy for April. Hey y'all, it's your girl Jasmine with House of Chiron, and I am here to make the language of astrology digestible and accessible for all. I am not only a professional astrologer, but I am also a Reiki master and mental health professional. So if you are new to my channel, go ahead and hit that subscribe button so you won't miss a beat. You won't miss anything that I will upload, as well as all of the once in a lifetime videos that I upload about the astrological transits and whatnot, especially videos like this that you get bi-weekly, twice a month. All right. So if you are returning, then hello, welcome back. You know how we do things. All right. So with that being said, let's get into it, shall we? It's a new month and we got new energy. All right. So starting off this month, we're going to first cover the energy for April 1st until April 15th. So the first 2 weeks of April. And starting off at the very beginning of the month, we have Mercury moving into Taurus, right? So Mercury is leaving the fast-paced Aries energy where information and ideas and insight was coming in quicker than what we could process, right? So with it moving into Taurus, it's slow, it's steady, it's practical in the way it communicates. And we can now begin to create plans that are practical and dependable. So we might also find that we are having to redo some things later on in this transit that was implemented during Mercury and Aries. Okay, so as you know, you start implementing things really quickly, you miss the details, make mistakes. So that could be something that we're experiencing over the next 6 weeks. Excuse me, because Mercury will be in the sign of Taurus for 6 weeks because the station's retrograde at the end of this month. Yay, retrograde season is back. So we've had 3 months of full forward motion and energy of all the planets being direct. And, now it's, although Mercury is in Taurus, that retrograde is actually going to serve us in many different ways. So I'll get there. But before we get to the retrograde period, once Mercury enters into Taurus, it's going to be making a square to Pluto, which is also at 0 degrees. So it's in Aquarius at 0 degrees. So that square energy is going to have us having like powerful conversations and, revolutionary revelations about, how to move practically and making deliberate decisions moving forward. And so this might give us a little, emphasis on this, I guess more so like tailoring the theme of what this transit is going to be like. Powerful insight and transformations and changes that could be coming up due to us being able to see at a slower pace and be more practical and dependable in our approach to things. Now, like I was mentioning, Mercury is going to station retrograde at the end of the month. And typically Mercury is in a sign for about 3 weeks. I am losing my voice every time. It's in a sign for about 3 weeks. Okay. So only time that it is in a sign longer is when it stations retrograde for the most part. So now it's going to be in this sign of Taurus for 6 weeks. And so this is going to give us extra time to be clear, to be steady, to be stable in our plans, our ideas, how we go about moving and doing things. And so that's going to actually serve us in making corrections to the things that we have implemented that we missed details or made mistakes on that we just kind of overlooked because we were rushing through things. Like I know March kind of came and went really quickly. So, it's very possible, especially with Mars being in the sign of Gemini during most of March, things were moving quickly during that month. So now we're kind of slowing down as we move into spring and into summer. And so moving on, Mercury is going to make a conjunction to both the North Node and Uranus during this transit. So although typically, you know, we would like to slow down and be, you know, steady in our approach, this is going to, this transit with these two connections to the North Node and Uranus is going to cause us to recognize the need to make the necessary adjustments to certain things, right? So like that conjunction to the North Node, it brings information that shifts our trajectory. It changes our plans, similar to, you know, the conjunction to Uranus. Uranus is different. Uranus is, you know, similar, but a little different. It happens, the conjunction with Uranus happens after a station's retrograde. So we might not see the implementation of the changes that need to be made until after a station's direct. But what it can do is bring genius energy. It can birth innovative ideas, or even provide us with immense clarity of something that needs to change, maybe not now, but down the line in the future, okay? Now, also, we may get like surprising or shocking news with this energy. So that could be something that we are experiencing in order for us to make the change. It's like, oh, I didn't expect for that to come out, or, oh, I didn't expect to learn that or know that or hear that. So I need to make changes in order to make this a better situation, or however. Okay. So then we have this full moon at 16 degrees Libra on April 5th. And this full moon is here, you know, it's pairing, right? You pair a full moon with Libra energy and it helps bring balance and harmony back into our focus. So, you know, a lot of us have been really focused, most of us, if not all of us, have been really focused on ourselves, our initiatives, our identities, and what it is that we're trying to implement, what it is that we're trying to do. And so this energy is going to bring back the important relationships and connections in our lives back into focus, right? Libra governs our interpersonal relationships, and the theme of this full moon will be just that. So it also could mean that we are ending what is not in balance in our connections. It doesn't necessarily mean that you're ending your relationship. I mean, for some that might be true. It doesn't necessarily mean that. It could be that a certain theme or a certain way of being or doing things within your relationships, and it doesn't have to be romantic. It could be platonic, business, however, but romantic is included. But things that you've done within those relationships could be coming to an end in order to bring back balance, not only, you know, with other people in our life, but also within ourselves. Because keep in mind, you know, first of all, everything starts with us, literally, because Aries is the first sign of the zodiac. So everything starts with you, your I amness, your identity. That's the Aries energy. And the sun is still in the sign of Aries, and it's opposing this Libra moon, right? So that's how a full moon is created. It's the sun in the opposite sign of the moon. And so it's illuminating that Aries sun onto that Libra moon. So that's what's shining that light. It's illuminating all those things. And so the sun is in Aries, but it's also in a conjunction with Jupiter and Chiron while it's opposing this Libra moon. And so this is helping us to focus on the healing within our identities that needs to be, you know, that needs to be recognized in order to bring things back into balance, not only with ourselves, but with others. And so with Jupiter being conjunct Chiron, the healing and the wound is magnified. Okay, so this might not be a typical Libra full moon where you feel all lovey-dovey and balanced, and, you know, like, yeah, it could be some of that going on too, but there's that energy of needing to find the middle ground, having to come into some type of integration of your wounds and your healing, your identity, and your relationship with others, and bringing back harmony and balance. So these things are being magnified and illuminated, right? So when we should be, you know, prepared that things illuminated under this full moon will require our attention, but also our focus, our determination, and discipline in order to create the long-lasting results that we're seeking, because Saturn is also making a play here, right? Because it's making an aspect to Venus, and Venus is the dispositor of this moon. Okay, and so Venus is currently back at home, chilling in Taurus, and it's helping us to realign to our values. So that's also adding a little bit of like, themes and nuanced energy to this full moon. Okay. So with that said, if you are looking to dive deeper into this full moon energy and focus on what is out of alignment within your chakras, within your own energetic field, join us on April 5th at 6 p.m. Central Time for our Libra full moon Reiki release. It's a virtual event that you do not want to miss. More information can be found in the description box below, but also I'll give more information towards the end of this video. Okay. Now, moving on to this last transit for this first 2 weeks of April, we have Venus moving into Gemini. So right after it makes this aspect and it does all these things with this full moon, it moves on from Taurus, enters into Gemini on April 10th, where it will remain until May the 7th, so roughly 4 weeks. And so Venus and Gemini, it moves away from home and it goes on this adventure in Gemini, right? Venus and Gemini brings a bit of fun and flirty energy to the environment. Venus is the planet of love and money, and it will show us the many ways to enjoy making money, how we can have our finances in different places and, creating streams of income in many different ways. Also, how to engage in social activities and doing so with charm and curiosity, right? So being open, exploring a little bit. And so Venus and Gemini is going to make a few aspects during this time to Neptune and Saturn. So it's going to be square both Neptune and Saturn. So the square to Neptune is going to bring those rose-colored glasses that we love so much, right, to our love relationships and our money situations. And it's going to do similar situations, right, with love and money. But with Saturn, it brings not the rose-colored, too good to be true energy. It brings the seriousness, right? So it brings in practicality. It brings in the realness. So it might require us to work on building longevity in our relationships, doing the work necessary to keep the thing going, keep this thing alive. Also you might feel a little bit isolated. Saturn could create restrictions within our finances or blocks or setbacks or even some type of delay, like you're expecting a sum of money to come in, for example, and it's like, oh, you find out that it's not coming in when you expect it to come in, or you realize that you wanted to make this large purchase and you can't because you need to get a little bit more discipline with your financial spending, right? So creating boundaries or structure within our spending, okay? So that's overall the gist of things. So really quickly, we're going to get into the reading for all 12 signs, and it's going to be the full moon in Libra reading. So you'll know exactly kind of what's to come, what you're releasing, and what could be going on with you for this full moon. So before we dive into that, I want to remind you to listen for your sun, moon, and rising sign. Okay, so your rising is first and primary. That's the most accurate reading for your sign. Your sun sign is secondary. It represents your focus, your goals, also could represent your career. And then last but not least is your moon sign. It is more subjective. It's about your internal world. It's about your emotions. It also can reflect your home, family, life, as well as your current living situations. Okay. So with that being said, let's get into it. Starting off first and foremost with Aries. This Libra full moon is happening in your 7th house. And this is the house of other people, the house of marriage, the house of, partnerships and contracts and commitments. And, with it being in your 7th house, this is the ending of some type of aspect to your relationship, how you show up with others, how you identify within connection to other people. Your sense of confidence, your insecurities, all those things are coming up to the surface so you can release them and let them go, bring back harmony, bring back balance into your life. Okay, implementing, being more secure, being more sound, and leading with your heart, leading with love. Okay, so also with this 7th house energy, it could be that you're signing a contract, making a new commitment. You could be closing on a home at this time, signing on that dotted line. This beautiful energy. So keep that in mind as well. Okay. So Taurus, sun, moon, and rising. This Libra full moon is happening in your 6th house of health, routines. This is about your work, your employees. This is about your rituals and things that you do on a consistent basis. And so with Taurus, with this moon for you all, like it's saying like this is the ending, or showing you where you need to be more practical, where you have to put in some work when it comes to a health situation or within your work dynamics, right? It could be small business, it could be your employees if you have employees, or people you're training, like if you're in a leadership position. It could be the ending of something, or the way you have been going about doing something when it comes to small business, or a skill that you have acquired that you're implementing into your work. Also, like I mentioned, it could be health. It could be that you are getting a handle on your schedule, your routines, just getting things in order and balance as well. Okay, so for Gemini, sun, moon, and rising, this Libra full moon is happening in your 5th house. And this is the house of fun and joy and, your hobbies and children and creative expression. And so this could be like you are, receiving, some type of recognition, or you're launching a creative project, or, releasing a way that you have been doing things that's out of balance when it comes to like your children, your fun, maybe having too much fun, not enough, work, all fun and no work kind of thing, or having to find the balance when it comes to your children and your home life and your hobbies, or maybe even your children's hobbies and things of that nature. Maybe have a lot to do with finances as well, launching something, and also, with 5th house, it represents romance. So it could be a lot to do with your values when it comes to your romantic partnerships, and just feeling valued. What is it that you value in dating or within your romantic connections? Okay. So for Cancer, sun, moon, and rising, this full moon in Libra is happening in your 4th house. And this is the house of home and family, your lineage, your roots, your background. This is your actual home and real estate. So this is like that mother energy, that feminine energy. And so the full moon in your 4th house, and the moon rules your chart, Cancer, right? It's your chart ruler. It's really going to affect you. The moon affects you on a really deep level. So with it being in your 4th house and it's a full moon, this could indicate major changes or coming to some kind of ending cycle when it comes to your home and family. So like I mentioned, it's about your roots. It could be how you're showing up at home, or implementing new traditions, or maybe you're looking to move to a new home, or you have just recently moved, or you've bought a home or something along those lines. But this is something that you are implementing, something that you are doing, that you're finding that needs to be done, right? Because the moon rules you. So something that you feel that needs to be implemented into the home. So if you're not buying a home, excuse me, then you are, making some changes or some adjustments, or there's a cycle ending that has a lot to do with, maybe your sense of security, your sense of safety, your own, safety, like your home kind of energy, your literal home, maybe buying real estate, or something coming up with your mother as well. Okay. So for Leo, sun, moon, and rising, this full moon in Libra is happening in your 3rd house of communications, your skill, trade, small business, your vehicle. This is about your immediate environment as well as your siblings. And so with a full moon being in your 3rd house, it could be that you are going to be launching a new business, right? A small business, or, this could be the ending of some subconscious patterns, or the ways that you've been going about thinking or speaking about yourself. Or you could be launching something or doing something, diving into something that's more spiritual, or going down a spiritual path, or learning something new, or even like the 3rd house energy is about teaching. So you could be teaching something. It could be spiritual, right? Because, it has that energy of it ruling your 12th house, right? The Cancer energy is in your 12th house. So very spiritual, something creative also. You could also be looking into like make changes when it comes to like your vehicle, your immediate environment, coming to an end of some type of cycle when it comes to that as well. Okay, so for Virgo, sun, moon, and rising, this Libra full moon is happening in your 2nd house. Okay, so this is the house of income. This is the house of your values, your possessions, relationships, and things of that nature. So with a full moon being in your 2nd house, this is like the ending of a cycle when it comes to your finances. Like maybe you have been having financial struggles and issues. And so like this is the ending phase of that, especially when it's in regard to your material gains. This could also indicate that maybe your friends are going to be helping you and paying you out, or, giving you money for something, maybe work that you're doing, or just even recognizing your value. It could be that you're affiliated with large organizations and things of that nature. And that could also be something that, you see value in, or you're starting that, or receiving money for being part of a large group, or something of that nature. Maybe even like social media with that 11th house energy. Okay, so moving on to Libra, Sun, Moon, and Rising. This is your moon, Libra. So it's happening in your first house. And so this is the house of you, the house of your self-image. This is the house of your initiatives, how you go about doing things, and your sense of, identity, who it is that you are. And so with this, full moon being in your first house, this is like the ending cycle of something when it comes to you, right? So when it comes to you, how you show up. And it could be on a public front, like publicly, your social status could be shifting. This is the wrapping up a cycle of something that has been out of balance and ending something on a public front. It could be maybe, your commitment to your work, or something is just out of balance and it's not allowing you to have ease, it's not allowing you to have harmony in your life. So you need to readjust your schedule, or you need to readjust how you show up in general when it comes to that, or just publicly or socially. So that could be something that is happening at this time. And also you might be making some changes to your image, okay? Like your physical image, like changing your clothes, changing your hair, things of that nature. All right, so for Scorpio, Sun, Moon, and Rising, this Libra full moon is happening in your 12th house. So this is the house of spirituality. This is the house of endings and beginnings, right? So this is the house that represents healing and creativity. So you might be really working on things like, this is a house of mental health. So it could be the ending of like a mental health thing, something that's been going on behind the scenes, maybe like a health situation, or just mental health in general. Just your beliefs, right? Just kind of like seeing what's out of balance, what does not align to who it is that you are and your purpose, and then letting that go, bringing back harmony and divine balance back into who it is that you are on a spiritual level, right? Your soul expression. Okay. So this also could be something to do with like a retreat, or maybe like the ending of a health situation, like maybe someone in your life has been hospitalized, or you. And so this could be wrapping up that, where you're, getting out. This also could indicate that you have an opportunity to go travel and do, something, or study abroad, or even just do higher education. If it's not necessarily studying abroad, it's higher education. Okay. So with that being said, for Sagittarius, Sun, Moon, and Rising, this Libra full moon is happening in your 11th house of friends, social networks, large organizations. It's about your material gains. This is about, philanthropy and your hopes and wishes. Okay, so this full moon is like a payout for you, like of something that you've hoped and you wished, and you're receiving it. It also could be like the ending or the wrapping up of like a debt. It could be a financial debt or any other kind of debt, right? Because that energy also rules your 8th house, right, of debts. So with this, it's like you're receiving something in order to let something go, or in order to receive something, you must let something go, that kind of energy, because something is out of balance, right? With this Libra full moon, is bringing it up to the forefront of what that is. It could be your friendships and how you merge with them, or how you feel indebted to certain individuals. It could be that. And so having to release that. And also when it comes to like finances, right? So the 11th house is very much so like a social house, but also it rules your material gains and your hopes and wishes. And so it could have a lot to do with debts that you owe being paid off, or receiving an inheritance, or getting news about that, or just getting a large payout from the government, things of that nature. Maybe the government owes you money. Good for you if you get that. Okay. So moving on, in Capricorn, Sun, Moon, and Rising, this full moon in Libra is happening in your 10th house. And this is the house that rules your social status, your responsibility to the world. This is your career and your public image. And this is something coming to a head, right? Something being illuminated publicly. It could be you know, mother energy. It could be your sense of security within the work that you do, how secure you are in the career path that you're in, but also has a lot to do with your commitments, has a lot to do with your relationships as well, and bringing that back into balance. It could be a change or an ending of a cycle in a relationship or a commitment that you've made previously, and it changes and shifts your public image, your social status, so to speak. So that is also something that could be going on with you as well. This also could indicate like you're leaving a job and making a new commitment to something. You got to get rid of something or let something go in order to embrace something new. Could be that as well. All right. So for Aquarius, sun, moon, and rising, this full moon is happening in your 9th house of higher education, long distance journeys and travels. This is the house that represents your purpose, your path. It's your vision, your overall vision for your life. And so with this full moon, it's like you kind of get like this insight of what it is that you truly desire, where it is that you really want to go. You might be in school, you might be traveling abroad for work. You know, it could be, you know, traveling, you know, on a day-to-day kind of basis. It might be your new thing, kind of like a nomadic thing, but it's kind of like for work, or what it is that you want to do for your purpose. So that could be something that you are experiencing with this full moon, and it could be like the ending of that cycle, or you're recognizing what needs to be brought back into balance within that dynamic. Okay. So last but not least, we have Pisces, pretty Pisces. This full moon in Libra is happening in your 8th house. So this is the house of merging with others, right? So this is shared and joint finances, whether it's with a partner or with other people. This is the house of debts and secrets, and the house that rules taxes and, you know, intimacy, right? So it could be intimate relationships. And this could be like the culmination of an intimate relationship, not necessarily the ending of one, but, you know, that could happen for some people. But, you know, full moons could be a time to release. And it's like releasing how you have been showing up in certain things. So you could be letting go of old debts and things that you have joined with other people. It could be a change in how you have connected with like your children or your creative expression, just changing how you show up in that way, that childlike energy, having more fun. It could be the ending of a certain cycle where you have, maybe you haven't been having a lot of fun and you want to. And so this could be that. This could also indicate like income coming in, you know, from your children, or maybe even income being dished out for your children at this time. Okay. So with that being said, that'll wrap it all up. Okay. That's all the readings for the month of, not the whole month, but the first 2 weeks of April. So there you have it. And so with that said, get into these announcements really quickly. So we have, like I mentioned earlier, we have our Libra full moon Reiki release that happens on April 5th at 6 p.m. Central Time. It's a virtual event. And if you would like to register to join the community, if you want to dive deeper into the chakra focus and get you some candle Reiki, okay, then this is the time to do so. Hit the description box and you will be able to find the link to register for that event. Okay, also we have our second Aries new moon that happens in the second part of this month. And so I will be doing another new moon intention ceremony for this Aries new moon. So we get another opportunity to set our intentions. This is going to be the start of the eclipse season. So you don't want to miss this. This one's going to be important. All right. So that also can be found in the description box. Anything? Oh, yeah. So if you're not signed up for my newsletter, you want to do so now. I have an ebook that I'm giving out for the free $99. Okay, it's free if you sign up for my newsletter. It's like almost 30 pages, if not 30 pages of astrology cheat sheets. That's literally what it's called. It's the House of Chiron's astrology cheat sheet. And it gives you the game on a lot of astrology tips and tools and, you know, jargon and all the things. So when you're listening to me, you'll be able to understand what I'm saying. Okay. It's like a vocabulary book, basically. So anywho, that's all that I have. I hope you all have a wonderful 2 weeks ahead. I will see you all around the 15th or the 16th. all that good stuff. I hope to see you at the new moon intention ceremony towards the end of the month. And I also hope to see you at the Reiki full moon release that happens in just a few days, okay, on the 5th. Don't forget to hit the description box. Make sure you like, share, subscribe. What else is it? Like, share, follow, subscribe, whatever it is. Comment also. Let's talk about this stuff. And yeah, bye.